topic is spying. I know you guys weren't spying during the break, but we'll see what happens if you saw my answers or questions or not. But I did want to say this. Antonio Smith, the Houston Texans, they were up at half over the New England Patriots. Then all of a sudden the Patriots come back. They win 37-31. He started crying foul during the post-game interview saying, you know what, it seemed a little too suspicious that they pretty much knew what we were going to run. Well, I believe that's called game film, but I don't know. You tell me, Chris. But guys, let's start off with this. Is this a point that Antonio Smith makes? Because this is a team that has been caught before for cheating. Or is this just one of those things you cry foul?
Well, first, no one likes the Patriots or Belichick, which is fine. But obviously, in the game, you make adjustments. So I don't care what level. Those are the best players and coaches in the world. And I'm surprised that adjustment didn't happen quicker. I'm sure they know how to adjust to certain situations. So I don't really get where he's coming from in the sense that, yeah, you played great in the first half. You had new schemes. Second half, they figured it out. Of course they did. They got 20 guys up in the box working on it. Yeah,
you know, that's why you make adjustments at halftime. And that's why you have a coaching staff, and that's why you have people actually taking overhead pictures of the game itself and going through those pictures at halftime and making adjustments. It's too easy to point the finger at the Patriots for the things they've done in the past, and that's a kind of a scapegoat. And that's when you lose, you're looking for excuses, yep. And I think more than anything, they're looking for excuses and blame the Patriots for it.
All right, well, let's talk about blame, maybe the blame game, depending who you are. New York Giants, Washington Redskins, the Sunday nighter. A lot of controversy because it looked like that the Washington Redskins, late in the game, down by 7, did get the first down. It was noted. However, they didn't tell that to the coaches. They thought it was a first down. It was actually 3rd and 1. 2 plays later, they lose the ball. They lose the game. So whose fault is it? The referees for the miscommunication between them and the coaches, and instead of stopping the clock and letting things settle and understand what's going on? Or maybe is it just one of those things that Washington would have lost that game anyway, so it didn't matter?
I don't think that's the case on that one. I think the referees, there's confusion on the down markers and the chains moving. I think at that point the game's got to be stopped. Now I understand the referees are trying to speed the game up and don't want to stop the play, but if there's any, one ref says 3rd down, one ref says 1st down, you got to stop the game at that point and talk to both coaches, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a total mistake by the referees. It cost Washington the win, and it cost Washington likely a playoff spot. Well, for sure a playoff spot. So they have 4 games left, and they're playing for nothing.
They're like, 3-9? I don't know about playoffs.
Well,
I know that, and it's
a
weak division.
I know it is, but you have a team that's 7-5.
But it would have kept their playoff hopes alive.
Would
have kept their playoff hopes alive if they would have won. And the thing is, what are the referees going to get out of it? How are they going to be punished for making this mistake? They're going to be degraded.
Well, they have been.
Well, what's that going to really result in? Does that result in a
Well, I think we had this topic last week as well, with the referee getting suspended and fined by the NFL.
But that was different. That's verbal abuse of a player. This was just total making a mistake.
Well, this is not the first time, nor will it be the last time, so there's going to be a lot of talk about NFL officiating for years to come. Kobe Bryant making his return possibly this Friday. A lot of excited people out there. I know there's a few people in our newsroom who are Laker fans, so I know they're elated. But will we see the same Kobe Bryant that we're used to? I know he's getting up there in age. He's coming off an Achilles injury, which is really serious. It's nothing you could just easily come from. But knowing it's Kobe and knowing his attitude, will we see the Black Mamba once again be in full form?
You're talking to a Lakers fan, and I'd say he's going to be good. But now he's more of a jump shooter than a slasher like he was back in the day when I saw him growing up. So I think he'll be 15, 17 points, and Kobe being Kobe is going to shoot as many shots as he needs to score those points, and the Lakers really aren't great. They're okay, but they're not great.
Well, how old is he now?
He'll be 36.
See, that's getting up in age. And yeah, he's still a great player, but he's not going to be like how he was. You know, so many times in these great pro stars that we always think that he was so good back then. Well, he's 36 years old.
The mind's still there, but the body is not following, right?
Exactly. We're all like that, you know. Maybe not Chris, but but definitely myself. So yeah, you would love to do what you used to do when you were 25 years old, but you're 36 now.
All right, guys. Well, you want to add another point?
No, too much Kobe love. Yeah. If anyone's going to do it, it'd be Kobe though, because Kobe works as hard as any professional athlete I've seen. So I'll give him that.
And knowing his attitude, I think that's safe to say, especially when you sign a 2-year deal, or 23.5 1 year and then 25 the next. Yeah, that says a lot too. All right, Indiana, Portland. I love this because you're starting to see it. To me, it's starting to be that changing of the guard. We always talk about the old boys club that you have, the Los Angeles Lakers always being on top. You had the teams like San Antonio. They're getting older, not too bad. OKC's kind of slipped off a bit. Of course, the Clippers aren't as strong as they were last season, but you're starting to see Portland come up. Portland's had a great start to the year. You have the best team in the NBA right now in the Indiana Pacers at 16-1. Gentlemen, can you see either Indiana or Portland in the NBA Finals come June?
Indiana, yes, I can see. Indiana was very close last year with Miami. They're good, they're deep, they're big up front, they're big across the board. Portland, I like, but I think Indiana's depth is what's going to get them there. Now, Miami, being Miami, could easily knock them off in 5 or 7 games, but I think Indiana's got a real chance.
Yeah, it's going to be, the Heat are always going to be right there all the time. And it's just a matter, if the cards are in favor of the Pacers, they'll pull it off, but you know what, the Heat are going to be a hard team to beat. We have King James going on. King James can carry you through a few wins in the playoffs, and he could carry them through Indiana.
Yeah, he might, but he doesn't necessarily have that supporting cast as he did. He has the players, but they're a little bit older. I don't see Dwayne Wade as being as effective as he was. He'll still do the job, but not to the extent that, you know, LeBron James will have to carry this team, much like he did with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Maybe get him there, just not enough over the hump. But I don't know. I see Indiana. I agree with you. I think they learned a lot from last year. They were kind of under the radar for a little bit. Then you're starting to see guys like George come in and really assert themselves as a star. And I think that's a benefit to Indiana. And their start is indicative of how they play. They're a great defensive team, and they can get it done on the glass on the offensive side as well.
And really, that's what playoffs is about, right? Playing good defense, and that's why Indiana is a really tough matchup for Miami.
Yeah, I think it's still going to be Indiana and Miami to determine who's going to be in the final.
All right. Well, you're always the political man because you never necessarily take that stance, Greg. But you'll have to in our next segment because we got over-under next. We'll see if Greg can win this week.